Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your patience. We intended to go live earlier uh, at 2 p.m. Pacific, but there was a technical issue that we had to resolve. But we resolved that, and so we're ready to go started. Um, for those who are not familiar with me, my name is James Weeks. I'm originally from the Caribbean island of St. Croix. I'm the author of the book Meditations Across the King's River, African Inspired Wisdom for Life's Journey, and the producer of the upcoming film Across the King's River, Finding and Fulfilling Your Life's Purpose. Yesterday, I did a Facebook Live and I shared tips for financial improvement. Um, for me, generational wealth has become something that I'm very passionate about, and that's why in my book, I uh, I dedicated a chapter to how we can balance spiritual and financial growth. Just in my years of just working with people from around the world and looking at trends, one of the things I discovered and I realized that there's such pervasive wealth imbalances not only throughout the world but in the diaspora, and people are struggling so much because they don't there's not enough conversations around wealth and what wealth trends are and how to position yourself for generational wealth. So what ends up happening is that millions and millions of us, not just us but people in general, get trapped into a lifestyle of get trapped into to poverty. So wanted to share some tips for addressing that, and I did that yesterday. And today I wanted to talk about um, an important wealth trend that's out there right now that's been called one of the greatest transfers of wealth. And so I brought my friend June Lyons, who's from the East Coast, to talk about her passion for learning for learning about cryptocurrencies. And I'll talk more about why this technology is so important and and how we can position ourselves to tap into it. So go ahead, June.
Hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? James, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here. I was able to read your book again. I read it this morning, especially the financial section. I think it's chapter 13. And there's so many important things in there. If they haven't already gotten the book, it will do them very well if they can get your book. It's actually the book that's behind you, Meditation Across the King's River. But building financial wealth is very important. It seems that that's something that we lack in our community. Um, we're going to jump into it, and I know James has some questions for me, so
Mhm. Well, could
we'll.
you tell us about why you've chosen this as a wealth trend for you to study, and what your hopes are and what you've been learning so far?
Okay, I chose to do the platform that we're in is I Am Academy.
Hmm.
We I chose to do it because it's very important that we build generational wealth to leave a legacy. Building wealth is, and you mentioned that in your book, it's a race. It's a relay race. You hand it off to the next generation, and the next generation hands it off to the next person, and that's something that I know that we lack in our community. So I think that is important for me to dive in so that I will be able to help my future generations that are coming on. I specifically like cryptocurrency because that is a new thing. New, not really new, but it's there. Less than 6% of the world population actually knows about it, and I know a lot of us miss the internet, and there are other things um, that happened years ago that people were able to build wealth. This is an area where people can definitely begin to build wealth um, and just be educated about it. And I really love the education that we get from I Am Mastery.
So let me ask you this. So could you walk us back a little bit and talk about what got you interested in the first place in crypto?
Okay. Now, I share this story with you quite sometimes. I'm going to share it with the audience. There's a show that normally comes on, and name of it is Queen of the South. And in one of the episodes, they were talking about cryptocurrency. And just being as inquisitive as I am, I decided to look it up. And I remember having a conversation with you, and we were talking about forex, and then you said the company also talks about the company, you can get educated about cryptocurrency, and that's all I really needed to hear, cryptocurrency. So then I dived into it, because anyone can find out anything on the internet, but I wanted to make sure that I'm around people and I'm in a space where I can learn it the right way, what needs to get done, how you are able to invest in it. And from there, that's where I began my journey.
Good. So I want to just share a few points with the audience. So one of the reasons why crypto is so important, some of you may know that cryptocurrency began around 2009 or so with the birth of Bitcoin. But cryptocurrency has been one of the greatest performing assets just across the globe. It has outperformed real estate. It has outperformed a lot of the other financial sectors. And it's important to note that where the cryptocurrency space is now, it's constantly evolving, it's constantly changing. Years ago, several years ago, you didn't have big corporations involved in the crypto game at all, right?
Exactly.
You didn't have corporations involved in the crypto space at all. You didn't
Right.
have government involved in the crypto space at all. But what we're seeing now, infusion of big money into the space. And so what crypto represents is an opportunity for all of us to get educated in this space and to position ourselves for wealth. And one of the things I love about the crypto space is you don't have to have a lot of money to get involved. You can get involved uh, with very little. And so there are days and times where I have invested as little as $5 or
Hmm.
$10. So it's not about having a lot of money. So, but right now, because less than 10% of the world's population is involved with this space, the more that we educate ourselves now and get ourselves involved, we have a chance to be early adopters, and we get a chance to position ourselves even before a lot of banks do. Um, Most people are not aware that there are many ways to make money in the crypto space.
Hmm.
And crypto has been called like digital gold, digital real estate, right? You can buy it and hold it long term. It's one of the things you can do. That's one way of making money, but that's only one way.
Right.
Um, but you can also trade it as it goes up in value, as it goes down in value. So it doesn't really matter. Um, Cryptocurrency could go down in value tomorrow and you can make money as it goes down. That's through trading it.
Right.
Um, but also, what the crypto space allows us to do, it allows us, once we know the ins and outs of it, um, to basically learn how to become our own banks and make money the way the banks do. We do
Exactly.
that by we can actually loan out cryptocurrency and get paid on it, for example. That's just
Yeah.
one way. Um, we can also um, we can also mine it. And so there's a lot of ways of position ourselves in this space um, to make money. And it just takes a desire to learn, a willingness to learn. June and I just came back from a wealth convention in Palm Beach, which was phenomenal because we had a chance to learn from other wealth leaders, such as Dr. Jewel Tankard, which I mentioned yesterday. And also yesterday I mentioned, I equated for me, I made a comment. I want to give you some background. I mentioned how for me, learning about wealth is a spiritual journey. And I'll explain why. one of the reasons why I made that comment is because by once you tap into the wealth space and you start learning more about it, you start to realize that you have more options, right? That some of the things that we've been told, part of the reason why a lot of people feel stuck in life is feeling like there is no option. But learning about this wealth space helps us to realize that no, we do have options. Would you agree with that, June?
Absolutely, absolutely. I know you said something about loaning money out. That's loaning your own money. That's one of the things that I love about crypto. Once you get into it and you understand it, that's DeFi. You know, the decentralizing the banks, and you essentially become your own bank. There's, I look at cryptocurrency, that space, it's futuristic, and we are getting ahead of the trend. And if it hits the news and you're just learning about cryptocurrency, then it's too late in a sense. So now is the time for you to get in. I myself as a crypto investor, there's so many different things, just as you said before, that you can do. You can stake, you can farm, you can mine, there's so much that you can do, and it keeps evolving every day. There's new things. The government is trying to understand it, people are trying to understand it. So now is the time for people to get in on on the ground floor, like you said, that every now and then you'll just buy some crypto and you just hold it. But what crypto is it that you would hold, and what is it? You have to understand that it's not just going out and just buying some coins or just buying this and just buying that, but learning which ones are good. And this is what you get from the education, from the platform that we're in right now.
All right. And so I just wanted to touch back on what I said earlier about um, spiritual traits and why I made the comment yesterday that some of the traits that are required for us to grow spiritually are also the same traits that would allow us to thrive in financial spaces. One of them is patience, learning the value of patience, because this is not an overnight journey, right? Um,
Certainly.
it's a journey of one of our mentors often makes the comment, the best way to grow your portfolio is slowly, right? So it teaches you patience. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you the value of mentorship. I mentioned yesterday that Dr. Jewel Tankard is a mentor to many people, but I'll show you in a moment the platform that she uses for her own mentorship so that she can excel, because it's not about knowing everything. It's not about trying to figure everything out by yourself. It's about leveraging the expertise of other people. Um, and another reason why I often equate just learning about wealth trends um, to spirituality is because in spirituality, there's so many things that are invisible that exist. There's a higher power. If you're a spiritual person, you may believe in, I'm sure you believe in a higher power that exists, but you can't see, or
Hmm.
ancestors that exist, but you can't see, or
Exactly.
spirit guides that you can't sense. But in this space, what fascinates me, I'll show you the parallel, is that the reality is that there are millions of dollars flowing all around us, or trillions even. But what
Yes.
it is we can't see it. And so, and it's because many of us, we lack the skills to tap into these bigger markets, in the crypto markets or in the foreign exchange market, which is the largest financial market in the world. And
Hmm.
for those who don't know, I said this yesterday, I'll repeat this again. Part of the reason why most people in our community don't know anything about the foreign exchange market is because it was not always available to us. It
Okay.
was the playground for the wealthy.
Hmm.
And as it stands today, the big players in these markets are still the banks or hedge funds or corporations. But more and more increasingly, we have a chance to participate in this market and learn more about this. Um, so what I'm going to do in a minute, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, June, but long term, I mean, where do you see yourself going short term and long term as you learn more about this space?
Okay. Long term, definitely continue to invest, and just learn more. Like, it's so much more to learn about crypto. Short term, I'm an investor right now, and I think that long term as well, I'm going to continue to be an investor. But I think um, long term, what I will be doing is doing more trading, cryptocurrency, and definitely staking. Staking is so important, and you can explain to the audience exactly what staking is. Staking
So
in
yeah, yeah.
your currency, and maybe also explain to them what DeFi is, because that's one of the things that is so important to know, that you can have your own crypto, you can borrow against the crypto, you don't have to worry about credit checks or anything, and borrow against it, at the same time have your cryptocurrency, you know, just growing, getting interest. So it's just amazing the amount of things that you can do in this market. So I would say to continue to invest short term, and to continue to invest long term, but also trading, and to just take advantages of some of the opportunities that that's available through this platform. I would definitely long term would like to share this with especially the youth, because they need to understand what cryptocurrencies. I don't want them to be left behind. So I'll do that through a nonprofit organization, my nonprofit organization, and just continue to talk about it every day, because that's what we need to do. We need to share this information, and we need to get our people on board. We don't want them to get left behind, because this is something that is so important. We need to have our communities involved, definitely, with understanding what cryptocurrency is, and understand that we are using it now, but it's not to the point where it's widely used and people understanding, but it's here right now. Everything that we're dealing with is smart. You have your smartphone, everything, your refrigerator smart, your bed smart, everything is smart, and we're still using paper money. So eventually that digital cash is coming in. It's just a matter of time and when.
All right. So what I think I'd like to do now, June, is I'd like to show them the platform that we use.
Okay.
And um, Jewel, the platform that I'm about to show you is a platform that Jewel Tancred calls the Wealth Academy. Um, and so just one moment, I will share my screen and just share a little bit about this platform that I use every day. When I wrote my book back in 2018, I I shared different tools and apps that we can use to build wealth. At that time, when I wrote the book, I focused on the stock market because cryptocurrency wasn't as popular then, and I didn't know that much about it. So I talked about tools like Stash, Robinhood, Acorn. So I'm going to show you a platform, an educational platform that so many people around the world use just to get the education to thrive in with the digital space, digital currency, foreign exchange market, and e-commerce. And if you have any questions about the platform I'm about to show you, just reach out to me. I'll explain how you can get involved. I'll explain how you can navigate through it. I'll explain all of the benefits that come along with membership in this academy. Just one moment. So the platform that I'm showing you is called iMastery Academy. This is the largest online platform for learning about both digital currencies, foreign exchange market. This company has been around since 2013. Again, the name is iMastery Academy. This is the academy that Jewel Tancred is a part of, and this is where she comes to learn and to sharpen her skills. So it's about leveraging the expertise of other people. On this platform, there are more than, I think, like 200 or so different mentors who come on daily to teach to teach about investing in digital, in in foreign exchange, in digital currencies, um, also in e-commerce as well. Um, when the convention that we went to last week was hosted by this company, and what amazed me, June, and June, you could speak to this, was there were tens of thousands. It was so diverse. A lot of young people, black and brown, coming from around the world just to learn here. So it's all about learning and staying engaged. So I'm going to show you DCX here stands for Digital Academy. Um, Once I click here, for example, it takes me into a platform where I could not only learn digital about the cryptocurrency space, but I could actually interact with mentors who do this all day and all night. So with this platform, there are about 12 or so different experts that you can learn from. One of them is Curtis Cobain, who both June and I had the pleasure of meeting. Curtis Cobain is just a young African American man from Detroit who used to be at one time he was actually positioning himself to be a basketball player, but he got shot in the face. So when he got involved with cryptocurrencies, before he got involved, he was homeless. But because of the power of cryptocurrency and what he's learned, he's become an educator over time. And I'm happy to say that he's no longer homeless, but he's educating people around the world. So this platform has educators from all walks of life, again, who do this 24/7. And, and it's just a great place to learn about everything digital, metaverse, NFTs, and upcoming changes in the digital space, as well as foreign exchange. So again, that's the platform that I use. That's the platform Jewel Tankard uses. Is the platform that a lot of millionaires go to, just to learn, just to get the financial tools needed to advance. So what I would like to do now is I'd like to open it up to questions of any kind, and I'll be happy to respond to questions. Again, if you have any more questions about getting involved with this space, just reach out to me or June. I'll be happy to walk you through it and do a full presentation for you. But I just wanted to come live today and just share some of this information with you. As I move forward with go lives, more go lives in the future, I'll be bringing on be bringing on some experts who do this full time and who can give you help you to understand why this this space is important for us to be in and for us to take advantage of. So what I'd like to do now is like to again open it up to questions of any kind. So if you have any questions, I'm going to wait a few minutes. It could be about anything that I discussed today. It could be about anything I discussed yesterday, and I'll be happy to respond to that. So I'm going to just in the meantime, I'll just share a comment from Angela. She just mentions that um, it's a good investment. So I'm not sure if this means that she um, currently invested. I assume I'm assuming so, but I don't know this for sure. And let me see. So I'm going to clicking here from I'm sharing a comment from Dingan Ernesto. Let's not make excuses. I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, so maybe he can elaborate on what he means by that. Um, So I'm just going to hang around a bit for see if there's other questions that anyone might have. In the meantime, June, could you tell me is this something that you've been sharing with other people in your own community?
Oh, definitely. Every chance that I get, I'm talking about crypto. And, I get the look. Now I get the look like, what are you talking about? What is that? Is that a scam? I thought I heard something about that. Oh, no, it just people not understanding that this is where we're at. So it just goes to the ignorance of some people. Ignorance meaning they just don't know. They don't know anything, and you're speaking a language they don't understand. So it's important for me to continue to to just feed them and just give them the knowledge that they need about what's going on in this space. um, when we went to Palm Beach, I just wanted to talk about that until when we get questions coming in. Palm Beach was just amazing. When you pull up and you see young people talking about 18, 19-year-olds young people in this space, and they're walking in, and the majority of the people that were there are mainly Black and brown people, and they're walking in with their notebooks. They come ready to understand. So there is certain segment of our population, and I'm so proud of it that our young people are getting involved with this. So we're there, we're looking, and we know that we're looking at future millionaires and billionaires, because it's serious and they understand the the magnitude of what we're dealing right now when we're dealing to crypto. So if you're dealing with NFTs or the metaverse or anything, staking, mining, e-commerce, anything that you're dealing with, it all leads to crypto. So I think just understanding more about cryptocurrency is the key. It is definitely the key.
Okay. So a few questions are coming in. Kitty Roberts is asking, well, what is the minimum investment and time commitment required? So it depends on, I'm not 100% sure like what question you're, so if you're talking about the platform that I just showed you, that platform is about $185 a month, but it comes with uh, education 24/7. It comes with powerful tools that you can use. It comes with trade ideas that you can take advantage of. Um, as far as learning on the platform, I would say that um, if you could commit like I would say a minimum of 1 hour a week, my opinion, that platform would serve you well, a minimum of 1 hour. But the more you engage with it, well, the more knowledgeable you become. Someone like Dr. Jewel Dankert, she's not spending 1 hour on this platform. I can tell you that. She's on some of these sessions. She's taking notes. So I don't know exactly like how much time she would spend, but my philosophy is if you can dedicate 1 hour, you would do well. Um,
If I can add to that, please, James, I would say that definitely 1 hour. If you can do that, but if you can do more, that'd be great. But you have to understand that this is a platform where you're being educated. And with anything that you're doing, you have to put in the time. You have to be disciplined. You have to study, and nothing comes easy. You're going to get the rewards later. The rewards being that you would understand about how to invest, how to trade, and that's how you would begin to see the rewards in terms of financially. So you have to put in that time. It's not a place where you can go and we're going to say you go in and all of a sudden that you know you're wealthy. That's just not the way. You have to put the time in. You have to study, and when you're doing that, you're not just doing that for yourself. You're doing that for the people who you love, for the generation that's coming behind you. So definitely, you invest your time and your money, you're going to get all of that back. You definitely will. And I've been in the space for almost 3 years right now, and it takes, you just have to study and understand and be on the sessions and participate, and it's going to make so much difference, so much difference.
Right, good. So Shirley's asking a question about cryptocurrency and how it connects to money and how to use. Well, the beautiful things, it can be used in a lot of different ways. Um, for example, let's say, Cheryl, that I'll talk about a benefit that most people wouldn't necessarily think of when they think about cryptocurrency. So let's say, Cheryl, that I wanted to send money to you in the United Kingdom, or let's say I had people back in Africa I wanted to send money to. Um, in the past, using, if I were to send that money to you digitally through cryptocurrency, through either, let's say, Bitcoin or something called Ethereum, there would almost be no cost. It's like almost free, right? But when you think about companies like Western Union and MoneyGram, they make a killing, right, from poor people, who have a need to send money to their loved ones, right? So this is part of the reason why this technology is so disruptive, and why um, some governments fear it so much. It's because not just governments, but corporations too. It's because it gives a lot of the power back to us. Um, we can send. again, we could send money back at just a fraction of the cost that it would take traditionally to do it through companies like MoneyGram or Western Union. I'll give you another use case of cryptocurrency and how it's being used. Yes, it's being used for long-term investments, but let's take the case of like political activists um, in any given country. Um, when governments know that you're involved with activism, they'll shut your bank account down. As
Mm-hmm.
simple as that. No questions asked. You're shutting down your bank account. But when you have something like cryptocurrency that exists in digital form, well, you can get they can't stop that. That's very difficult for them to stop. So this digital space is is just so diverse. It's rapidly growing. It can be used also blockchain technology to ensure that elections are done more fairly without fraud. So there's a lot of applications for blockchain technology that goes beyond finance even. I read a case where there were farmers in Nigeria, women farmers in Nigeria, right? And here's how cryptocurrency is helping them. Um, what was happening to those women in Nigeria were they were getting robbed. Why? Well, because they had to have cash on them. They were carrying around lots of cash. But if someone was paying them in Ethereum in cryptocurrency, well then they don't have to carry cash, right? And so they were able to navigate in a way that was just more free and safer for them. So as this space evolves, you're going to find more and more uses for for cryptocurrencies, and that's why the space is just so dynamic and evolving and
Every day
important to to get involved. Houses are being purchased
through
in,
cryptocurrency.
yes, homes, um,
Mm.
you name it. So it's increasingly going to become more commonplace. And yes, Shirley is asking the question: can you spend money in shops? And the answer is yes. In some places, a lot of places, movie theaters now in the U.S., some of them are accepting payments in crypto for sure. Um, so I'll just wait a few more minutes to see if there are any additional questions. Um,
Um, Back in 20, see how this world, the how cryptocurrency, that space is, is futuristic. But back in 20, I think 2011, a Bitcoin was only worth $1. And fast forward to 2022, Bitcoin is at what, 42,000 or 40,000, right?
right,
It's,
something
it's
like
about
that. So right,
42. So, and
right,
as an investor, you look at things like that. So back in 2011 or 2010, when Bitcoin was less than a penny, you bought a few of those Bitcoins because they were just used for gaming. And if you still held on to them, now each of those Bitcoins are worth 40, 42 and up. So, and and that's where you're going to have other coins that'll do just as well, or even better than that.
exactly. And so at one point, for example, in 2020, Bitcoin was only worth like 5,000. And then by December of 2020, it was about 18,000, for example. And then around, I think, February of 2021, it was at 40,000. So it's a market that's volatile,
Very volatile.
which
Yeah.
can be good in terms of like investing. And so it's just again a question of positioning ourselves, getting involved with the space. Um, Cheryl is asking the question is can it be withdrawn? And the answer is yes. You can withdraw it. Um, and again, like I said, you could also take out a loan against it. So there's so many things that you can do with it. But yes, you can totally withdraw it. Um, as well as yes. So I'm not sure if there are any more questions coming in. I'll just wait another minute or two to see if there are questions coming in. All right. So I'll just wait one more second or so, a few more seconds. Um, And if you're looking at this broadcast after this live cast, um, and you have some questions for me, just reach out. I've been in this space now for the past like 3 years, and I can definitely answer them and send you in the right direction. Um, let's see. So if there are no additional questions, I'd like to thank you for your time this afternoon. My thing is this. I just wanted to share a few wealth trends with you, a few trends. Um, these wealth trends are important ones. But if for you um, you choose not to tap into these wealth trends, my advice to you is to find a wealth trend that you're going to tap into. Um,
Exactly.
or to find some vehicle that you're going to commit yourself to. Because without a commitment, nothing's going to happen.
It's true.
Without a clear sense of vision or clarity about where you want to go, where you are now, well, nothing is going to happen. And that's why, for most people, their financial situation never improves from year to year. It stays the same or it gets worse. Um, and this is the scary part is that, again, it goes back to change. If we're not willing to change anything about what we're doing, about what we're reading, about what we're listening to, about what we're willing to dedicate our time to, then we can't expect our financial situation to improve. We can't expect to position ourselves for the next generation. All right. So again, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure coming live with you. Again, feel welcome to pose any questions. uh, I'm available. I respond to text. I respond to email. So definitely, we will keep these conversations going.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, James, for having me. I really appreciate it. And if I can give just one parting word, it would be make that move. Make that move. If you decide that you want to change your circumstances, your situation, what it is, you can't sit around just wishing about it, just daydreaming about it. You have to make that move. And when you make that move, just know that you're going to have to just work hard at it. Nothing good that's really going to come to you is just going to be easy, but you will definitely reap the rewards in the end. So just make that move and be determined to just move forward and have faith.
Yeah. Well, thank you, June, and thank you for your dedication over the past 2 years. I saw how you've come into the space, and I saw how you've invested in education, and I've just seen how you've grown,
Mhm.
and I just have full confidence that you're going to achieve your goals.
Thank you, James.
All right. So, well, D is just asking one more question. Let me see. Let me see what the question. D is, we got a question that just came in. Um, so she's saying cryptocurrency is not something she's comfortable with. Okay. Yeah. So so D. So to respond to that, it's still a relatively new technology, and so to piggyback on what you're saying, so most people are not comfortable with it, right? Yet, right? But when you think about when the cell phones, for example, first came out, who was using cell phone? Who was doing texting? Texting was something that we learned, right? So any new technology requires adoption. It requires
Right.
time.
Exactly.
But the thing here in this case, because this is again a new technology, it's a disruptive technology. I can tell you that there are other communities, well, that are studying this technology day in and day out, and they're not playing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
So my encouragement to you is, even though you don't feel comfortable with it, would be to get involved. Because what you don't want is, you don't want to look up 4 years later or 5 years later, and then you look at the gains you could have made, or how you could have positioned your
It's
family or your loved ones, but because you didn't feel comfortable, you did not. And that's what happens too often to our people, because we we're, we're too comfortable. I would say we are too comfortable with what we've been doing. We're
mm-hmm.
too comfortable with what we've been thinking.
Mm-hmm.
We're too comfortable with the way we've been behaving, all of these things. And this is why we stay in the same position year in and year out. And it has to do just with that, that many of us are just too comfortable. Many of us. and not saying you, I'm just talking just in
In
general
general.
terms, just not you, I'm not saying you, but just in general terms, this is what keeps us in our place, this comfort level, you know, where we're comfortable in our jobs, right? Some of us, right? And because we're comfortable in it, we won't branch out. We won't do anything outside of that, right? We're comfortable with the circles that we some of us are in because they don't challenge us very much. So then, but then we
Right.
don't grow. And so for us to grow, I mean, this is the thing, we have to constantly push ourselves and get into situations, right? Environments where we don't feel comfortable because this is where the gains will be made.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'll just wait a minute or two to see if there's any more questions, and then I will sign off for reals, for real. Uh, yes. Um, all right. So I don't see any more questions coming in, so I will sign off. But again, thank you everyone for your time today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Again, from time to time, I will be having these conversations around wealth, around finance, because it's important for us to have these conversations. And it's important for us to get to a place where we struggle less and where we approach our future and our lives with just more confidence, more optimism, and more empowerment. All right? Yes. Thank you. Yes.
Right.